All right, audio should be coming in now. Let me check. Say something real quick.
Hello?
One more time.
Hello?
Yep, you're good.
You hear me? Yep.
Yeah,
All right.
don't you, Blue Jay? Don't you heckle me? God damn it! The stream starts when I do sign on. Damn it! Appreciate your heckling
show
ass
starts when I
being
say
here
it
though.
starts.
Huh?
It's like the show starts when I say it starts.
Right. Should take another 15. I should turn the music back on. God damn. Oh fuck. Anyway. What is it? Episode 17. Yeah, it's episode 17. Oh Jesus. What's going on there, viewers? This is your gracious host, Kaine Walker, coming back with another episode of the Monkey's Paw, episode 17, where we document the downfall of mainstream Western entertainment. I'm joined by my co-host, Soups, and we're here with three more topics for you tonight, and we're going to start with introductions like we normally do. So what's up, Soups? What's going on with you, bro? Like, how's it going?
Life been better. Just happy to be here.
Outstanding. But anyway, go ahead.
No, I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, you're good. Oh, Mr. DJ Fly High. What's good, man? You're a new face around here. Please consider subscribing so we can spread this message to more cool people like you and the others that have been around. But tonight, we're going to discuss three topics that showcase why you should never bend the knee to propagandists who want to infiltrate your culture, your subculture, excuse me. Yeah, I'm kind of mush-mouthing tonight, my bad. And we're going to start with our first topic is going to cover a new show that dropped recently that I haven't watched. You know what, man? I don't even know if I'm going to fucking watch this show for a... Oh, man. I just did something to myself.
I mean, I will.
Nah, I did. No, like for
I mean,
Dread
I know
Quest.
I will.
For Dread Quest, I don't know if I'm doing it. It's
I
not
mean,
even showing.
it is pretty short right now. So I mean, it would just be like a couple of weeks worth of content, I guess.
I mean, yeah, more or less, maybe. There it is. So, the show that we're going to be talking about is going to be X-Men 97. And this this Stan Lee interview has resurfaced after all these years. It is old news, but for some reason, they turned a character in the show non-binary, and people are trying to insinuate that X-Men has always been about social justice, i.e. wokeness, and it's just not true. Like, they've always also tried to make this connection that X-Men was about the civil rights movement, when that's also been debunked by Stan Lee himself, and people love to ignore this for whatever reason. But anyway, the article in question is going to come from the Park Place. And it says here, Stan Lee debunks widespread myth that X-Men were always woke. Again, very old news. Right here, it says in this caption, Stan Lee... Go ahead.
Old news, but we underestimate how much stuff gets lost in time and history.
Yeah, that's why it's important to record it. Even
recorded history gets lost and forgotten. Always gets like forgotten in time, especially if it's not like the mainstream recording.
You are not wrong.
But I think it's a big reason why there's such a misunderstanding of the X-Men.
Yeah, but this didn't get lost in time though. It says here, Stan Lee at the 2010 San Diego Comic-Con in San Diego, California. Oh yeah, that's just a picture of him. I thought there was more to say. They just gave a photo credit and...
No.
Yeah, that's all they did. Former Marvel Comics president Stan Lee debunks the myth that the X-Men were always woke. All right. In the wake of the debut of the first X-Men 97 trailer and the revelation that Morph will be made into a non-binary character, numerous individuals began perpetuating the lie that the X-Men have always been woke and been allegories for racial and sexual orientation injustice. That was the other one I forgot. That the X-Men were an allegory for gay rights when they're not an allegory for anything. It just so happens. It just so happens that the experiences of the X-Men can be juxtaposed with other experiences from real life. That's the way a story should be written. It shouldn't beat you over the head with anything. It should be its own, framework that happens to be applicable with real life issues. You know what I mean? That's the point of escapism and immersion. But go ahead.
I think that's been a double-edged sword for the X-Men technically, because especially consider the timing of when the X-Men was getting popular. This was like their most popular time was like in the comics at least, 70s, 80s, then started going downhill around the 90s, and then like 70s and 80s, like people were getting past or going through or like going like where how to say this, going past like the Civil Rights Act and all that. Like that was all fresh, and now we have a bunch of fictional characters talking about like, oppression of mutant kind, equal rights among the two. You could see why people really like the X-Men hit too close for some people, too close, especially in that time period, I guess.
I mean, yeah.
Even though, funny enough, the X-Men, a lot of the stories in the X-Men didn't actually directly tackle that kind of stuff. They have so many adventures that have nothing to do with the direct conflict between mutants and regular people. It's interesting,
Yeah, it is. One sec. Antihero 64, what's going on? Nice to have you. But to add to your point, Soups, let me see. I mean, like you said, it hit very close to home for people, but that doesn't mean that the original intent behind the show was for a specific thing. And for some reason, people have a hard time distinguishing a universal story from one that is very specific and on the nose. Like the show, throughout its comic book history up until recent years, it is never directly stated that it was about civil rights. I mean, it wouldn't, because it's depicting itself as its own internal world, but you get my point. If it's not said directly, it's clearly not what it's about. It's just something that could mirror it. You know how they say history doesn't necessarily repeat itself, it just rhymes? That's literally the case with X-Men as it's applied to oppressed groups in world history. It's the exact same thing. It just rhymes. X-Men rhymes with the civil rights movement. X-Men rhymes with gay rights. It rhymes with a lot of other battles with freedom and civil rights around the world. So yeah, go ahead.
I've actually not heard that saying.
What?
That's how you know I haven't heard that saying before, man.
You've never heard that expression before?
I've heard history repeating itself and all that, but I've never heard the part about history rhyming. That's how I think that's telling on the kind of society we live in, if that saying doesn't get passed around a lot.
It doesn't, because a lot of people parrot the first saying that's pretty much ever coined, but one day someone gave a different perspective on that quote, and now I kind of agree, because events throughout history are never gonna happen the same way twice. And by the same way twice, I mean the exact same way. You know what I mean? The details will be different, but the framework will be the same. That's why they say it rhymes, because the words sound similar, but they are not the same word. You know what I mean? So it makes perfect sense, and the logic is fucking cast iron. I love the expression. But continuing on, Da-da-da. How far did I read? Oh yeah, non-binary characters been perpetuating a lie. X-Men has always been woke. Okay, X-Men updates posted on X. The X-Men have and will always be symbols for inclusion and diversity. If you're a bigot and have a problem with that, you're not an X-Men fan and don't understand the slightest thing about. Oh my fucking god, dude! These tourists. You've been reading comic books in a lot of people's cases for longer than they've been alive, and they have the nerve to come on to the internet and tell you, if you don't believe what I believe, you don't know what you're talking about. And this is the shit I always talk about whenever we talk about these subcultures, man. Everyone's like, we need more readers. We need more players. We need more X, Y, Z. We need more fans of this subculture. And in my head, I'm like, two things come to mind. Why and what kind of new people? Is it new people that are going to assimilate and adapt the culture that's already established? Or is it people like this dumbass who are going to worm their way in and start saying shit that makes absolutely no sense? Change this for me and my group. I'm a fan, but can we please change this so that I feel more comfortable? Like, no, motherfucker, you're not a fan. You've never been a fan. You showed up when it was popular and socially expedient to become a fan of it. Now that it's hot. That's why pop culture sucks now, because it's no longer niche. It's mainstream, and everyone, now that it's fucking cool, wants to be a part of it, but not really. They just want to wear it like a skin, like a jacket that they can conveniently put on and take the fuck off whenever they feel like it.
Yeah, they
It's
just want
like
to wear the
Bane said.
merch.
My bad.
To go
One
to the
last thing
convention and pretend to be one of us.
One last thing before I give you the floor. It's like what Bane said, right, to Batman. I forget which Batman this was, but he said, "You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it and molded by it." Right? That describes a lot of the original fans in these spaces. My bad. Go ahead.
That was Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises? Okay.
Yeah.
Don't kick my ass for that. I didn't know, okay? Tell us what's going on. Glad you showed up. All right. Reading. Yeah, fuck that tweet, man. Like, go ahead.
It's funny to me because, like, we really need a lot more, like, veteran comic book fans, like, speaking up and about.
Not even us. I feel like we need older comic book people speaking up, like older ones, like that, ones that were old enough to be immersed. Because like I wasn't old enough to be able to go to a. Go ahead, my bad.
We need someone to replicate that scene from what was it? What was it? No, from like that scene from Narnia. Do not recite to me. Do not recite to me, which I was there when it was written. Do not recite to me the rules of magic, or like something like that. We need fans as old as that lion.
Seriously, that's a banger. I need to look that quote up. That shit is a banger. Do not recite to me, which I was there for when it was written. That shit is a banger, bro. That's exactly the fucking sentiment I feel all the time. Like, we need older comic book people to speak up about shit like this, because like I don't even feel like I'm old enough to really talk about it, because I wasn't old enough to go to the comic book shop every fucking Wednesday. I had no money. And I wasn't around at the height of comic book popularity. Like, I wouldn't have been old enough. So yeah, we need more dudes like that to speak up about this shit. But go ahead.
Wait, it was I got the quote. It was, "Do not recite the deep magic to me, which I was there when it was written."
That shit is a banger. You need to put that shit in quotes. That is a banger.
Yeah, it's. I will. But yeah, that was the first Narnia story.
Related article.
It's sad because I wasn't even old enough to have been there to see like the 90s X-Men cartoon, but I only got that to watch it back then because I had family relatives who kept like either VHS like records or like a C. No, I had a uncle who kept the CD of the entire first season. I didn't have to find the rest on Netflix back when it used to be on
Oh my
Netflix.
god! I wish I could have been able to buy physical copies of X-Men the animated series and all the others. You could probably still find them.
We're gonna have to look.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to
Have
look
to like
far and
look up
wide.
like yeah. And if you're trying to get like a physical copy of the show, ooh boy.
Rip it to discs and give it away for free in Minecraft.
In Minecraft, of course.
Look at this related article. X-Men 97 to embrace evil transgender ideology by describing Morph as non-binary. In response to Geeks and Gamers thumbnail criticizing making Morph non-binary, Casey Walsh wrote, "Who's gonna tell these chuds the X-Men invented woke?" My God, they're fucking ignorant, bro. They have no idea.
Oh,
And you guys can see the thumbnail. X-Men 97 already ruined by Disney wokeness. I mean, speaks for itself, honestly. You have anything to add?
wait, what does that next part say?
Where?
What's the next part say? Mighty Keith. Wait, the YouTuber Mighty Keith? The one that
Yes.
does like funny skits?
Yes.
Oh no.
They got him too, bro. Yep. Never meet
Oh,
your heroes.
God damn it. Ah, damn it. I love this content.
Mighty Keith on X also responded to the Geeks and Gamers thumbnail. "I can't stress how incredibly stupid you look for saying X-Men out of all things is turning woke." He added, "Themes like identity politics has always been in X-Men in either comics, animated series." No, it hasn't. What the dude? Wait, no. I'm saying this now. Being a mutant is not a political identity, you dumbass. Like, they some of them are born completely unstable to the point where their existence makes it difficult for human beings to live in proximity to them. Like Wolverine had to kill, I forgot what the kid was or what his powers were, but essentially, like he would be killing people and it wouldn't be his fault. It was just the way he was born, like some radiation, some energy projection or something. Like that shit is not a political identity. That shit was a struggle, like a real struggle. Because guess what? You can have legitimate reasons to be prejudiced against something. The mutants had extremely unstable abilities, bro. Like I described before. And mankind wasn't exactly stupid for not trusting them. They weren't, bro. That's why it was so morally compelling to hear the story and the relationship between the X-Men and the regular human people around them, bro. This shit, to describe the X-Men and their situation as a political identity is tone deaf as fuck. And that's how I know you've never fucking read a book by them. You've never fucking gone into the pages and dissected the stories and read anything about the characters' conditions or what their powers did to them or other people, because you would never leave the comic book with this stupid fucking opinion. Identity politics, motherfuckers were dying, motherfuckers were suffering, bro. It makes no sense. They weren't doing this shit for votes, motherfucker. They were living through it. Like, what are you talking about? That fucking comment's retarded, bro. Go ahead. I can't believe he said that shit.
Yeah, no, you're right. That I couldn't have said that any better myself. That was retarded, and I'm just so disappointed. But also, I feel like that's on fault of the movies too, because the movies, like, hardly ever, outside of Jean Grey, hardly ever show instances where the mutant hardly ever goes into justifying or making the human side more understandable. Like, it just always wants you to sympathize for the mutants,
Bro,
because they're the victims or whatever. But
you have
there's not enough like attention on mutants being so unstable that they kill people. It's always been human manufactured in a way.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Like, both sides are victims. You remember the fucking Marvel Civil War? How did that start? The X-Men and the Avengers, I believe. I think the Avengers were there too. Were fighting a mutant named Nitro in the middle of fucking I forgot what street it was at, but there was a school nearby, right? They attacked this guy. It was a school bus.
Wait.
It was a school bus. Go ahead.
No, wait, no. It wasn't. It wasn't neither the X-Men or the Avengers. It was some other team that.
Who the fuck
It was
was
some
it?
other
I thought it was
wannabe
them.
superhero team that wanted to. No, in the first Civil War comic.
Yeah,
Started the whole thing? No, it was
the incident, the inciting incident, Nitro blowing up. Who made it happen?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It was neither of them were actually there. It was this wannabe like superhero team that likes to like do recording, like filming all their
Wow.
heroics that they do, like for the fame.
Wow.
They were trying to stop this villain that basically demolition man over here. He just blows up shit.
I need to
blew up
reread that
like,
again because I
a
thought it
school
was
bus
either.
of kids.
Yeah.
Like the Avengers kind of got involved later on with like the cleanup, and like they had to respond to that, yeah, but they weren't the ones at the scene at the time, I believe.
Okay, so that would have showed up later if they weren't there already. But the point is,
Yeah,
both sides are victims. Like the humans are victims because they have to live in constant fear of the mutants justifiably. And sometimes you get freak accidents like what happened with Nitro, where a lot of people's kids got killed in fucking nuclear explosions or whatever kind of explosion it was. Also, the mutants who didn't have anything to do with that would get branded with the act of a villain mutant. So essentially, like everybody was catching hell trying to coexist, which is why I hate that they didn't explore the isolationist position of Magneto more, like as a justifiable angle for humans and mutants separating, right? But people are too pussy, and I have no fucking better word for it, to explore morally compelling concepts like that. They don't explore the X gene being unstable to the point where it's like extremely dark, bro. Like dark as fuck. Like the mortality of the mutants and the humans. Like they never explore that, or the isolationist positions of Magneto and the like. Like they never do it. I don't know why, but go ahead.
yeah, it's crazy because like that was the whole point of what Genosha was for. It was basically supposed to be an isolated island peace for all mutants.
Supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly, but like that was supposed to be the idea.
And it was wasn't necessarily a bad one. I think the execution was just poor, but it's another aside. Another related article here says, let me see. Oh, never mind. That's unrelated. I'm not going to read that. It's something about Deadpool 3. In response to claims like these, Rippaverse founder Eric July showcased an interview Stan Lee did in 2007 on Coast to Coast with George Nuri with guest host Ian Punnett. And I'm actually going to play that video for y'all. Shout out to Eric July. He does some good work over there at the Rippaverse and on his channel. And he's basically going to break down the interview. I might not play the whole video, but I'll at least let him talk a little bit and then play it and then move on with the article.
What's good, y'all? This conversation
we should
is still
probably
happening.
skip to the part where Stanley himself talks.
You sure? Oh, never mind. His
Yeah,
because
Eric does spend because Eric spends like a good half of the video. Yeah, he spends a good chunk talking, and we don't want to.
Yeah, that's a lot of setup. Where's the video? Wait, where's the video at? Hang on. Maybe let me click around.
No, hold up. He does actually, because in his own video, he does Stan Lee's interview.
Yeah, he should. He said, "Let's listen to the man himself." Where the fuck is the shit at? You're kidding.
X, just not true.
No.
Objective thing happened. Long-standing 2002 stand.
Now take the X.
It doesn't say.
Listen in.
No, he plays the audio.
He actually had a fill-in that day. So Ian Punnett was listening here. Let's listen in.
I remember he had the whole video itself.
Wait. He plays it at 1:30. Hold up.
Right here. Let's listen in.
I mean, there are things like that people catch that you may not have even known that you were putting in there. But
you
obviously...
are so right. Now take the X-Men. I was just originally trying to get an interesting group of characters with interesting powers, and I thought it would make it twice as interesting if the public really didn't like them that much. And if they had a worry about their reception by the outside world, little by little, I began getting mail saying how great it is that I'm doing these stories about bigotry and the evils of bigotry and so forth, and race hatred. And I guess I was doing that, but I was doing it subconsciously. That wasn't the main purpose.
So that it goes, of course, in line. There's some other things that he says that we're going to listen into of a bunch of different interviews and public statements that he's made regarding the X-Men. He created them really out of laziness, if you want to call it that. He said that he just wanted to create these cool groups of characters. He didn't want to have to sort of come up with these like origin stories. What if he just said that?
But I am a bit biased towards Stan Lee,
That's how you
even
got
at his
X-Men. And
even in his old days.
The best literature, of course, is going to have people say, hey, this may be similar to that. Okay? And it's oftentimes in your own mind. And there's nothing wrong with that. You find these similarities. So what Stan Lee is saying is that, yeah, okay, maybe the similarity might be there, but I didn't try to do that. He didn't do it on purpose. That was not his goal. Now listen in on this as well.
And when the X-Men enjoyed its reincarnation on film, there was a lot of talk about how this was really the story of homophobia.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
And that was not wasn't part of the original blueprint.
No, it was the furthest thing from my mind.
Right.
So there you have it right there. He quite literally says that was the furthest thing from his mind. He wasn't thinking about that.
In the
that had
freaking
nothing
70s.
to do with the creation of the X-Men. Now, I would encourage people to just go read X-Men books. You would be saying some very damning things about Brother Malcolm X if you were to say that they were somehow similar or more so with
Malcolm
Magneto
X.
was similar to Malcolm X, because Magneto for a very long time was just a cutthroat evil villain who wanted to rule over humans. That wasn't what Brother Malcolm X ever was. Now, the similarities that people often point to isn't even Stan Lee's era. It's the Claremont era. But Claremont himself, which you can go watch my...
Go ahead.
Yeah, the second era.
Yeah,
I was gonna. No, I'm just agreeing with her. Like, yeah, it was like the second era of
X-Men.
Like,
the Civil Rights era
where
had
Magneto
nothing
got like
to do
fleshed out
with what it is that he was trying to create. When you had the retcon of like with the Holocaust connection and everything there, that didn't happen until well over a decade, and after they had been already created. And again, that was during Claremont's era. He was more so representing Begin and this whole Jewish dichotomy. That was his influence. It was not the Civil Rights era. But people will perpetuate this lie.
I mean, so yeah, that's the point. Like, Stan Lee never intended for the X-Men to highlight any sort of racial issues or like homosexual issues directly. Like he said in the video, in the audio that was played by Eric, that was the furthest thing from his mind, right? Like, and people always like to make, there was this one story about someone trying to hide the fact that they were a mutant, and a lot of people took that as an allegory for being, as what homosexuals call, in the closet. But honestly, you could literally extrapolate this same logic to any superhero with a secret identity. You could say that they are in the closet about their hero identity and vice versa with their secret identity.
God,
like, it's just, but it's just, you can see how it's a
don't
reach.
Say that, lest
it's a reach, bro. I mean, I was doing that to illustrate why it's a reach.
Please.
Okay. Go ahead.
I know, but I'm just like, I was just gonna say, please don't give people the idea, because I don't want to run into an article where someone talks about Peter Parker hiding his identity as Spider-Man as a metaphor for hiding your homosexuality.
Yo, if they do that shit, what's good, Heroes fan? If they do that shit, I'm gonna show them the fucking cover of Spider-Man No More and tell them, explain this shit. Explain this shit. What is it? Gay no more? Huh? It's an allegory for being in the closet? Motherfuckers. Fucking stupid. They would spin it and be like,
does that mean you can lose your gayness?
I don't know. He threw his gayness in the trash, I guess. That'd be a dumbass article. Stupid as hell. My God, bro. Let me finish this up. Says at one point in the interview, Lee said, "Now take the X-Men. I was just originally trying to get an interesting group of characters with interesting powers, and I thought it would make it twice as interesting if the public didn't really like them that much, and if they had a worry about the reception by the outside world." He was absolutely correct. As I described earlier, there was a very morally compelling conundrum between the mutants and the humans, right? And coexistence, even to this day, is very difficult if they're not still in the Krakoa era. Because I know I saw you mention that too, Blue Jay, by the way. The Krakoa era was like reestablishing Genosha, which is an island that's remote that only mutants are allowed to live on. If they have gone that route, maybe it's not as difficult. But back when they were integrated, it was difficult for humans and mutants to coexist, which is what sparked Civil War and the Superhuman Registration Act. I think there was a Mutant Registration Act first, but the Superhero Registration
Act. Not that I heard of. I remember for the Civil War specifically, it was Superhuman Registration Act for sure.
Okay.
If there is a Mutant Registration Act, that must have been like way before Civil War.
It would have
like
had to
way
be before.
after, like the events were already over. It had to be a separate storyline for just the X-Men because Civil War was far more broad, and it was more so about superhero identities, like reveal your identities and like start working directly for the U.S. government.
Yeah, which how would
the U.S. government?
Which how the fuck would that solve the? Go ahead.
Was it the U.S. government specifically or United Nations? Like the world, it's like the world governments.
It was the U.S. government, which you have to ask, how the fuck would that solve the issue of perpetuated fear among citizens? Perpetual fear among citizens.
You know, that would incite like World War III because everyone would get instantly paranoid that every superhero in America is directly working for the U.S. government and can like just basically just incite the scenario of Watchmen.
I think that's debatable. But I don't want to get into that discussion. It's gonna be a fucking rabbit. That's a good discussion though. That's a good fucking discussion. Talking about the X-Men Civil War, it's a great fucking discussion. Oh man.
That's like the only good topic that came out that I discovered from reading Watchmen.
What's funny is that it positions the
superheroes were
government
directly
as the
working
bad
for the
guys.
U.S. government.
It positions the government as the bad guys because they're taking away people's right to anonymity. But anyway, moving on.
I mean, is that far from the truth?
No. But anyway, he continued. Little by little, I began getting mail saying how great it is that I'm doing these stories about bigotry and the evils of bigotry and so forth and race hatred. And I guess I was doing that, but I was doing it subconsciously. That wasn't the main purpose. And this is an example of the interesting people that he had in mind. You have Cyclops. This is the OG costumes. Beast does not look like this anymore. And I don't think Angel looks like this anymore either. Well, fuck, none of them look like this anymore except for Xavier.
None of them, yeah. Like the costumes have changed significantly. I mean, even look at Beast right there, especially.
Yeah, he looks more human. He was like
and
just a
poor.
Yeah.
And poor Iceman. Ooh, yeah.
He looks terrible.
That panel did not do him justice from here on.
That shit. Did they use this to justify him being? I'm not even gonna ask. In another clip from the program, Lee addresses the idea the characters are an allegory for being representatives of the LGBTQ community. He says, "No, it was the furthest thing from my mind."
I mean, yeah, we read that, yeah.
My God.
Oh, is that? Oh, I think that's the video where it's like it actually shows Stanley himself.
Right, the actual interview. Lee also discussed the X-Men's origins in a 2-hour interview conducted for the Living Television Collection back in 2004. This shit, 2 hours. Oh no, we might not want to click that.
Just click the video and like scan through it. We're not gonna spend 2 hours.
Oh, they timestamped it. Genius. They timestamped it. Nice.
Sweet.
All right, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna turn the volume up for you guys. There we go.
Let's see, we were talking about.
We didn't really talk that much about X-Men and how that came.
Oh, the X-Men, how I did that.
Is that valuable?
Funny, everything is a funny story.
Motherfucker. Hold up.
He sounds a little low.
After I had done the Fantastic Four, the
I
Hulk,
put subtitles on
Spider-Man,
just in case.
I think the
Yeah, I'll put closed caption on. But that's as high as I can go, I think.
Dang.
No,
Thank you.
I'm sure that on the drive home I'll remember a million things. Is there? Let's see. We were talking about.
We didn't really talk that much about X-Men and how that came.
Oh, the X-Men, how I did that. All right. Well, there's a funny. Everything is a funny story. After I had done the Fantastic Four, the Hulk, Spider-Man, I think the X-Men came next. The X-Men and one other. I think Daredevil. They're about the same time. Anyway, I wanted to do another group of superheroes. But I was getting tired now of figuring out how they get their superpowers. I couldn't have everybody bitten by a radioactive spider or exposed to a gamma ray explosion. And I took the cowardly way out. I said to myself, why don't I just say they're mutants? They were born that way. We all know there are mutants in real life. There's a frog with 5 legs, things like that. So I won't have to think of new excuses. I'll get as many as I want, and yeah, he's a mutant. That's
This
all.
was actually a brilliant chess move.
I had the idea, and I made up some characters.
You know, this is a chess move I wish he implemented from like the beginning, because that would simplify so much.
An idea for a book called
Actually, nah, because we
The
wouldn't have gotten
Mutants. I
Spider-Man.
wanted to call it The Mutants.
Not in the way he is now.
It sounds like a good idea, Stan, but
It came at the
nobody's
right
gonna
time.
know what a mutant
Sure.
is. Our readers wouldn't understand. He has another name. Well, I felt he was wrong, but what the hell, he was the boss. So I went back and I gave it some thought, and I thought they have X.
What the hell, he
for
was the boss.
power. They were led by a guy named Professor Xavier. So I said, well, I'll call them the X-Men, even though one was a girl. And I went back to Martin. I said, hey, all right, how about this name, the X-Men? He said, yeah, that sounds fine. Use that. So as I walked out of his office, I thought to myself, if a reader isn't going to know what a mutant is, how is the reader going to know what an X-Man is? But I didn't want any trouble. I had my name, and I just let it go. But I often felt I don't understand the workings of the executive mind.
Now we'll just move on to a little bit of some craft questions, and if you can just describe, and I know you have actually gone through this. a little
Bless
bit.
Stanley. Rest in peace.
Yeah,
What a
rest in peace.
legend.
I'll
He's so,
cut. Go ahead.
bro, he's so honest. I love how brutally honest he is about himself. He straight up admitted he just did it to lessen the work. He
Shit,
created
WWE.
the concept of mutants just to
Just to cut
for
corners.
easy work. Just to cut corners.
If this next part he's talking about is irrelevant, I'm just gonna cut to the final parts of the article. But let's go.
But the step-by-step process of creating and producing any animated television series.
Well, the step-by-step process of creating or producing an animated
I
series
think that's
is probably
irrelevant.
not much different than
Yeah. For all of you
it's not
present,
relevant.
for all of you present, if you would please do us a favor and like and share, at least attempt to get us into the algorithm. That way we can attract a wider audience. Thank you. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe.
We gotta.
We do this show every couple weeks, either Wednesday or Thursday, and we always come with 3 new topics, unless it is a trend in the news cycle. That is probably the only exception. But attempting to wrap up this article before we get to our other 2 topics here. Okay. In that interview, he stated, the X-Men, how I did that. Well, there's a funny story. Everything is a funny story. After I had done the Fantastic Four, the Hulk, Spider-Man, I think the X-Men came next. The X-Men and one other, I think Daredevil. They're about the same time. Anyway, I wanted to do another group of superheroes, but I was getting tired now figuring out how.
You just said all that. in the video.
Yeah, he did.
But he
I
just
don't
said all
have-
that in the video.
Do I not have to read that though? Yeah, I don't have to read that.
Nah, you don't have to read that. No, you don't. Yeah, you can keep going.
Shit, I read it before. I should have done that the first time. Anyway, pitch the idea to the. Yeah,
it's great hearing it from the man himself. So
yeah. Yeah, that was the entire quote that I was reading. He told a similar story to Robert Kirkman's Secret History of Comics for AMC back in 2017. We don't have to play that one. At this point, we get the gist and the idea behind what his original intentions were regarding the X-Men. Everyone's wrong except him, so it's whatever.
it's rare that I've seen like a creator like not misinterpret, but just flop the meaning of his own work. It's very rare, and I think because the only person that comes into mind is Rick Riordan.
Rick fucking Riordan, that fucking traitor. Oh my god, it's funny now.
It's
funny now, but at the time, boy, I was hurt like J. Cole. I can't. Well, I can talk about it, but it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Well, anyway. Oh man. Oh, it's the same. He basically quoted himself verbatim. He quoted himself verbatim during the Kirkman interview. Yeah, it's the same words.
God bless the old Marvel writers, even at their cheesiest or their worst.
Yeah, so the
I think
last
that's
wing,
at least for X-Men.
my bad. So the last wing of this article was just another quote from from him addressing that the X-Men was created out of laziness. So it says here, clearly Lee did not make the X-Men woke, and thus they were never always woke. But one only needed to read original X-Men comics to have realized that in the first place. Fucking exactly. I said that shit about fucking, what's his name?
Yeah.
What's the fucking the skit maker guy who fucking said that dumb shit? What's his name?
Mighty Keith.
Mighty Keith. I said that about Mighty
Keith.
Keith. Like, this is how I know you didn't read them shits, because you would never leave with that opinion. These are some long ass comments that we won't read. But you guys get the point.
It's an interesting.
Go ahead.
It's interesting note that on that thumbnail video with the Geeks and Gamers, I recently saw a video where he reacts to that old video of his, and makes note of, it talks about like the response he's gotten about like X-Men, that the X-Men show in particular not actually being as woke as it was promoted to be, or not.
Stop
I don't know if
making
it's
fun
not
of me,
because
man.
I've yet to see it myself.
I'm a hip hop fan. Stop making fun of me. Can't end the day without mentioning.
Hashtag ain't hurt like J. Cole. Ooh. Ooh.
Hey man, it's coming back around. I understand. I need to apologize to him, dead ass. But anyway, what were you saying, Soups? Stop cooking me in the comments. I did nothing.
I'm just making note. And also I would ask like the people, like everyone watching us, like, is the new X-Men show actually as woke as it was promoted to be? Because I'm hearing a lot of opposites, and I'm actually hearing a lot of like surprisingly positive feedback about that show, and it's making me curious and rethink my initial impression of it.
Yeah, if anyone
because the
actually
promotion of it is so bad. Yeah, because the promotion of it is so bad, it's turned me away from it for a good minute.
Yeah, that's what the article was about, Toast. It was about the new X-Men 97 show. Yeah, it's that they re-released X-Men the animated series, but it's redrawn, and I'm sure there's loads of other changes. But yeah, it's a new X-Men show. It's not really new; it's a rehash, but you get it.
Well, I wouldn't say rehash. It's supposed to be like a sequel. It's supposed to be like a sequel to the original 90 series. That's what it's. It's not. It just feels a hell of a lot like a reboot because it's like done by different people. The only people that are still there is like a couple of voice actors from the original show, and the storyline is still picking. It's continuing from season 5 of X-Men. Still adopting like a couple of arcs from the comics. which I heard were good, but I'll have to wait and see. I'll have to see for myself one day.
Got you. So, the opening of that article is to show you, like I said at the start of it, how woke ideologues will invade your subculture and assert things that aren't true. They've never actually been fans of the source material, yet they feel qualified enough to educate you, someone who's been immersed in the community for years, about what the real information is. And we see this all the time. We're seeing it in real time in every subculture. I want to do what I should have done is save a slot for Hades 2. And if we don't cover it this show, I'm definitely covering that next one, because we have to talk about Hades 2 as well. Because, man, I was so hyped for that.
I'm actually behind on Hades. Too. What's going on with that?
It got hit with the DEI stick in the fucking Sweet Baby Ray's sauce, bro. Like, we will talk more on it when we do an official when we do an official segment on it. We'll talk more about it in greater detail. But I just want you to know that shit got hit with the ugly stick. It fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down and landed in lava. But anyway, on to the next segment of complete. Go ahead.
Fell into the depths of Tartarus.
Seriously, like, it's tragic, man. But on to the next segment here. It's horrible. It's completely. Oh Lord. The way people manufacture issues is baffling to me, because with this particular topic, people have brought this forth as some sort of issue of safety because they don't have the option for pronouns. And it's fucking ridiculous.
Pronouns.
There is a change.org change.org petition that has been live since September 29th of 2023. And they have a summary of why this petition matters, which it doesn't. We'll get into that in a second, but let's see what Atmospheres has said about not having the option to change pronouns in Stardew Valley. 7 years ago, Stardew Valley changed everything for indie gaming. This farming simulation game created by Eric Barone, aka Concerned Ape, is often said to be one of the greatest games of all time. No, it is not. That is a lie.
What?
I'm saying
I never even heard of this game until now.
You've never heard of Stardew until now? Really?
No, man. This is the first time I've been hearing of this game. That's why I'm like, what is up?
You must be sharing a space.
Why am I only hearing? I don't know why I'm only hearing of certain things because of controversy, instead of naturally hearing of things through, like, accomplishments.
It's a niche game, and you've clearly been sharing a space underneath that rock with Toast, because this game has been around for a while. Like, oh man. It has amassed a huge fan base, selling over 20 million copies. There's a huge problem with the game, though. A huge problem. Look at how they're framing this shit. When starting a new farm, you are tasked with creating a character, but there are only 2 gender options to choose from. This excludes non-binary players from fully feeling represented in their gameplay, forcing them to select between being referenced to as he or she throughout the entire gameplay experience. For many trans and non-binary players, the gendered language in the game can feel incredibly disheartening and invalidating, causing feelings of dysphoria when misgendered while they are playing. I'm not reading that keyboard smash shit. They added letters.
They added numbers.
They added a number. Nah. Nah.
Oh my god.
Please tell me the number is a typo. Please.
Please, bro. Please tell me this is satire, and someone just put that into troll, because this is.
Alphabet players deserve to see themselves represented to the fullest extent in their game. The gender neutrality mod is available for players on PC, has over 40,000 downloads, but with the game available on many platforms that don't allow modding, a change needs to be made to the base game so that everyone can feel represented. No. Do you know how many fucking options? You know how many options that us as gamers wish we had that are only available on PC?
You good?
Are you
just
kidding? Go ahead.
This feels like, to me, we've reached the opposite end of the spectrum as when
Which one?
when Starfield was coming out.
I was
First,
just
we were
about to
enforced
fucking say
with
this,
the
dude. You read my fucking mind, dude. It's just pronouns.
Right,
It's not a big deal. Well, it's just not having pronouns. It's not a fucking big deal. You know what I mean? You see how that argument doesn't work in reverse? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having a mod that gives you the option isn't enough. Like, it's so, like, just play something else. Just play something else. Like, if you're that hurt by not having pronouns in the game, just play something else. Because normal people understand that there's only two genders. And this fucking alphabet bullshit is purely political and compelled speech. That's why that shit needs to be resisted. That shit should be laughed out of existence. Huh?
Like how we just straight up started laughing at them adding numbers into that shit now. What does the number represent?
Bro, I
in
still
this
don't
now?
even know. I still don't even know if that shit is legitimate, bro. I pray to God that's a typo. What the fuck does the number 2 stand for?
What the hell, indeed?
This shit is looking like a strong password right now. This shit looks like something that Google would give me to lock my fucking Gmail account. What is that?
Nah, Google will tell you that there's not enough characters in there. You gotta add a little more.
Man, fuck that. Fuck that, bro. Like, with the 1.6 update currently being worked on, now is the perfect time to make a change like this to the game, in which the people who don't want pronouns don't have a choice, because as someone said, I forget who said this, removing the choice to not have them be selectable is the point. Normal mode is gonna mean some different shit here in the next fucking couple years. Mark my fucking words. Normal mode is gonna take on a new meaning. But anyway, I truly hope that this change can be made for the sake of all the amazing queer Stardew players who I have had the pleasure of encountering in this community. You are seen, you are valid, and I hope that this position shows you that you are not alone.
This is the same sympathetic BS that I've seen back when the whole BLM thing was starting up and all that.
But hold on, people.
We see you. You are valid. We hear you.
Yeah, but hold on, people.
Ugh.
It gets worse.
Forbid.
It gets worse. It gets worse.
But you don't do that with normal people. Actually,
it gets worse, folks. Hang on, bear with me. It gets worse. This tweet. Let me zoom in on this shit. It's a little bit grainy because it's a screenshot, but this tweet by TQ at Witchy TQ on Twitter. If at Concerned Ape truly doesn't want to add non-binary options and character references, he needs to say so. He needs to address his transphobia if it's there. You see how this shit works, guys? If you don't capitulate to the alphabet mob, the alphabet mafia, you automatically hate them. as if exclusive rights to a place, item, product, or service is wrong, even though we have subscription services in which you have to pay for premium to be able to access. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being excluded.
You say so. Some of those.
What'd you say?
You say so. Some of those. If you say so, some of those streaming services are straight ripoffs.
I know they are, but that's my point though. Like, all of that shit is fine, but excluding your fucking special treatment, that's automatically transphobia. Maybe he doesn't subscribe to your beliefs. Oh, but you can't say that because it's not a belief. It's supposedly a scientific fact. It's not. You do not have the right to bully people into your ideology. That's exactly what the fuck this is. He needs to address his transphobia. How about you fuck off? I'm tired of you people suggesting that somebody hates you because your weird shit is not being accepted. Like, leave people the fuck alone. If you don't want to play Stardew Valley, which I'm sure your dumbass is still playing because they don't have fucking pronouns and non-binary representation, then go take your punk ass and play something else. It's fucking stupid shit.
It's
Go ahead.
It's hilarious that, like you said, like they're probably still playing this game, even with all this complaining and whining that you're doing. It's like when them and all the celebrities were trying to complain and like threaten to leave Twitter, and even those that did ended up coming back.
Fuck, the name of the thumbnail.
They're so
the name of the thumbnail is visible on screen. I named this shit transbitch.jpg. I don't even know if she's trans. I just typed that in there. I didn't know it would be visible, and I'm not sorry for typing it either. Fuck you. This shit says his community deserves to know. I just noticed that on the link. His community deserves to know. I just noticed that on the link. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, it wasn't supposed to be. I meant to do it, but it wasn't supposed to be visible. Fuck it. Don't at me, motherfucker. Anyway, his community deserves to know so they can go where they are loved. If he plans to add it, tell us. Demolish the hate. It doesn't stop there, folks. This brain rot continues with another statement by TQ.
No.
Give me a second to pull that up. Yo, the name of this one is even funnier. I swear to God, I did not plan this. I didn't. The name of this one is Trans Bitch 2 Electric Boogaloo. Hang on. I didn't plan that. I promise. I just forgot.
I believe you.
Nah, bro, I forgot that the shit was visible. Not that I care, but
perfect though.
Here's the icing on the cake.
The funny thing,
the icing on the cake is that a lot of these types on Twitter like to say egregiously stupid things and have the gall to limit their comments. So yeah, TQ goes on to say, yes, I am implying transphobia. I am not afraid to admit that. Who has encouraged you to be afraid? Every major corporation backs you, weirdos. You can't claim to be fighting against the machine when the machine flies your flag every fucking month. Almost. There's a calendar celebrating your ideology.
Oh, there's a calendar for specific months.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, months.
Bro, it is. I swear to God, it's Pride Year. I'm not bullshitting. It's Pride Year. I promise you can find a fucking alphabet holiday somewhere. There's probably one today. Not kidding. But anyway.
God, I hope not.
Look at your own risk. But anyway, unless Eric Barone states why he has not addressed the calls for this, which has been ongoing for years, I have to start assuming the worst because it is what will keep my friends and community safe. This has become an issue of safety, y'all.
Who's safe?
They're so delusional
Safety?
that they think neglecting to give them an option in a video game is an issue of safety. After describing Stardew Valley, not them, but we know, as a fucking cozy game, this shit is an issue of safety, bro. This is how protected they are in this fucking bubble. That's how ridiculous it's gotten.
You know, it's a funny thing I think back to now that since we're on this topic.
Yeah.
Bit of a personal bit of a backstory. I remember when I was in college, we had this church where I'm not sure if it was a church or if it was a cult, but anyways, we had they always have like speakers that talk on the college campuses, and you know they'd be like doing the loud preachings or whatever, calling out. We had this one dude who basically called everyone that was walking past him on campus a sinner that needed to repent or whatever. It got very annoying very fast.
Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. I would hit him with that shit every day. Every day.
That was tempting. But eventually we did have a dude that straight up yelled at him to go away. Basically, shut the hell up and go away. And I think back to I referenced that event because
that's essentially what they're doing.
Speaks to
the same rhetoric.
Yeah, they're basically doing this. This is basically the rhetoric flipped to the other side of the spectrum, except there's no one telling them to shut up and go away.
Right.
And I feel, and I wish they tried to do this in real life just to see if someone actually did get fed up enough to just tell them to shut up and go away, because oh god, they're
evangelical queers. Queers is their word, not mine. They describe themselves as queers. I'm describing them as evangelical. The rhetoric is the same. They are evangelical queers. It makes no sense why you being denied something is automatically hate. That is evangelical shit, dogmatic shit. It's ridiculous. And then she goes on to say, I'm going to be limiting who can reply, as I am not here to fight with those whose minds are made up. I am here asking as a lover of the game to address what my loved ones are begging to be addressed, to move the gaming world in the right direction. I am asking Eric, move the gaming world in the right direction.
Right direction.
What does that even fucking mean?
Oh boy, what a nice choice of phrasing. That's a nice choice. What a nice choice of phrasing. Right direction.
And here's the thing, like, who's asking besides them? Who asked for that? Who asked for the pronoun? The fact that they need to get a fucking petition made for this shows that no one really fucking cares about it. Like, who asked for this? The only people that should be getting their needs met or their requests fulfilled are the people who spend the most money on it, based on like certain sales figures. Like, no one asked for that.
You know, it is sad that they're going on change.org petitions, because one, I haven't seen change.org actually like have any effect on anything, like at all. Like, no matter which side, I have not seen a petition actually cause anything to happen.
Well, Grums actually.
And it's sad because I've seen petitions where I can.
Go ahead.
Oh wait. Oh yeah, wait. But before you bring up Grums, because I know you're segueing to your next topic. I was gonna say I have seen petitions like bring back Daredevil season 4 for Netflix and all that stuff like that, and I'm like, I sympathize that so much, but I knew that wasn't gonna happen because big corporals don't really look at petitions, except in this particular case. I know you're gonna bring up, so I'll let you segue to that.
I was just gonna say Grums has like receipts that he's actually won when he protested something about World of Warcraft using change.org, plus a few other initiatives, because he has this like plan for freeing Stellar Blade of censorship, which is another thing. Did we already talk about Stellar Blade? I'm pretty sure we did.
We did because we were talking because we were talking about like the controversy with the sex appeal and all that of the characters in Stellar Blade.
Yeah, and actually, we're only an hour and 9 minutes in, so we might actually be able to cover Nah, we'll save Hades for next time because we have 3 topics, and if we can finish the show in under an hour, why not? Because our next topic, because these articles have actually been pretty short and we haven't derailed too much, which is probably a good thing. Maybe we should lean towards shorter shows, like if they can be wrapped up in an hour, unless the audience is just like chatting, you know what I mean? Unless we have a reason to extend the show. But anyway.
We do.
Say what?
We do. Well, they don't chat much, but they don't chat much, but it's always like during the show. I think we have a good enough schedule. We just tend to either veer off course or spend too much time on one topic in particular.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think we still have it.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of, I'm actually happy about this next topic.
Yeah, I decided to end on a bit of positivity. I wasn't completely accurate in the introduction. Our last topic is actually discussing a victory for gamers, which again, a term that I feel is very corporate. Whatever. We actually got a win recently, which is funny because it was reversed almost as quickly as it started. But I want to start from the beginning. So there was some recent controversy with Helldivers 2 with an account linking update involving Sony. You were going to be required to have a PSN account to play Helldivers. And of course, people immediately started uninstalling and flooding the review section of Steam with overwhelmingly negative reviews. It got review carpet bombed, bro. It was ridiculous. But it says here, Helldivers 2 account linking update. Attention, Helldivers. Due to technical issues at the launch of Helldivers 2, we allowed the linking requirements for Steam accounts to a PlayStation Network account to be temporarily optional. That grace period will now expire. See details below in this post. What's crazy is that when did you plan on telling us we were required to have a PSN account? You know what I mean? Because it's kind of weird that you do this in the middle of its release. They were like, we were temporarily allowing you to have allowing me to what? What? Huh? But go ahead.
It's funny. It's also funny that we mentioned that because I learned of this recently. There's quite a number of countries that don't even have like PSN like available. Like you can't get a PSN account in like certain countries. So this is just an even bigger.
That would be losing money,
bigger middle finger to the consumers.
Yeah.
And commercial suicide.
Yeah. Yeah, that grace period will expire. See details below in this post. Account linking plays a critical role in protecting our players and upholding the values of safety and security provided on PlayStation and PlayStation Studio games. This is our main way to protect players from griefing and abuse by enabling the banning of players that engage in that type of behavior. It also allows those players that have been banned the right to appeal. You know, this is, oh my God. Imagine having this in place for something like GTA or Dark Souls or any other game that encourages invaders and assailants and chaos. Imagine that shit, because there are plenty of other games that pretty much encourage griefing. They call it player versus player.
Does Call of Duty?
They call it PvP.
Does it Call of Duty count?
It would absolutely.
Call of Duty count?
It would absolutely count. Absolutely. Stream sniping. Yeah, it would absolutely count. Most people call that PvP. They're like completely defeating the purpose of gaming. It makes no sense. Go ahead.
People just people just can't handle fucking harsh words across a microphone.
No, that or losing at a game. Being teabagged is a form of griefing. Like, whatever. Bro, I need to watch more of those. I need to watch more of those old school Xbox hate mail compilations. Those shits were gold, bro. Watch them. If you ever feel bad one day, go watch an Xbox hate mail compilation. It will brighten your day up, bro. Oh my God. Whew, bro. It's even better if you experienced it. Go ahead.
My thing is like, when did people become so soft that they can't handle just getting cussed out in fucking Call of Duty? In Call of Duty, man.
When they started handing out participation trophies.
It's like, it's one of the few times where it's just a game can actually apply to this, because like, I'm used to sucking on online lobbies, man.
Yeah.
I'm used to dying off quickly.
And you never complain to the developers to stop the abuse. But then again, you actually play video games. So like,
when did ever I guess just several thousand people just developed a huge skill issue, I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
That's what it seems like. Everything's being made easier and easier for Timmy across the street who's never seen a video game in their life, but I digress. As such, as of May 6th, all new Helldivers 2 players on Steam will be required to connect their Steam account to a PlayStation Network account. Current players on Steam will start to see the mandatory login from May 30th and will be required to have linked to Steam and PlayStation Network account by June 4th. PlayStation Network accounts are free and easy to set up using this link, which is not the fucking point. We understand that while this may be an inconvenience to some of you, this step will help us to continue to build a community that you are all proud to be a part of. Many thanks for your continued support of Helldivers 2, Sony Interactive Entertainment.
Some of you, more like half the world population.
Pretty much. I'm pretty sure this is a fucking form of DRM. Either way, if the customer didn't ask for it and the game was going well without it, why would they continue to roll this out? It just seems, I would say it's a massive oversight if I didn't know who Sony was. Like, it's just, it's brain dead.
You know, Sony.
Everything's going well. Go ahead.
Yes, everything's going well, and Sony was just like, oh, can't have that.
Yeah, they're just like, holy shit, it's not broken. Quick, somebody fix it. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Sony? Like, The Verge.
You know,
right?
it's hilarious because Sony.
Go ahead.
It's funny because Sony didn't really do a lot to like actually promote the game. They I bet they would have forgotten about it had it not grown so popular.
Didn't this shit like
naturally?
Yeah, organically by word of mouth. Because people are so starved for good fucking content from the PS5 and so forth. Just in general, starved for good content. But anyway, this next one's going to be coming from The Verge, and they actually detail the events following the announcement of that mandatory grace period expiration. And they say, Sony reverses unpopular Helldivers 2 decision after blistering player reaction. Helldivers 2 Steam reviews went from overwhelmingly positive to overwhelmingly negative in just 3 days after Sony attempted to require a PSN account to play. Stand down, Helldivers. Your battle is won. Late last week, Sony announced that Helldivers 2, one of the most popular multiplayer games of the year, would require Steam players to link their account to a PlayStation Network account. After a weekend of strong player backlash, including review bombing the game on Steam, Sony reversed course earlier this morning and will no longer require PC players to link a PSN account. You were saying something?
No. I was gonna say something, but keep going. I'm gonna save it for later.
Got you. Here's an official tweet from PlayStation saying, Helldivers fans, we've heard your feedback on the Helldivers 2 account linking update through the megaphone. The May 6th update, which would have required Steam and PlayStation Network account linking for new players and for current players beginning May 30th, will not be moving forward. Do we even want to show more?
It's amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing. It took 2 days. It took 2 days of of bullying Sony to make them re, turn turn course back in the right direction. Unbelievable.
fucking Kyle, you're still learning, all right. Stellar Blade. Ah! Oh my god, that's funny. Follow Cosmogothic on Twitter. Anyway, PlayStation. Helldivers fans, I already read that part. We're still learning what is best for PC players, and your feedback has been invaluable. Thanks again for your continued support of Helldivers 2, and we'll keep you updated on future plans. And Kyle says, "You're still learning, all right." And so
You're still learning.
Yeah, free Stellar Blade.
Scroll down again. I saw Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers say something.
I'm trying not to, bro. I'm just trying not to accidentally scroll over porn because you know how fucking Twitter. Gamers win with Sydney Sweeney. Let me get the fuck off Twitter before they show some fucking. Oh my god, bro.
You're welcome.
The strength of that player reaction cannot be understated. Within hours of the initial announcement, Helldivers 2 received over 14,000 negative reviews on Steam. The number ballooned to over 200,000 negative reviews in the 2 days after, enough to reverse the game's overwhelmingly positive rating to overwhelmingly negative. Though review bombing is typically seen as an extreme action players can take, it was apparently encouraged by one of the Helldivers 2's community managers. Sorry, that shit is confusing. Because it's possessive after an S, after a plural word, but go ahead.
Someone needs to manage the community managers because this is happening way too many times where community managers just acting out against customers.
You know what's crazy about the term review bombing? It was actually started as a fucking gaslight. I forgot what movie or game, probably The Last of Us 2 or Captain Marvel. Bet money. Started
review bombing for movies? I think it was back in Ghostbusters 2016. I think.
Yeah, it was started as a gaslight. Like something that was obviously hot ass would get a negative review because we saw the promotional material and said, yeah, this is going to be shit. And they were right, by the way, and put a review up saying, yeah, this is going to be shit and I will not be watching it. And they called that review bombing. But the reason that shit is gaslighting is because motherfuckers not stupid. They were absolutely right. It was going to be shit, and what they said came to pass. So the term review bombing started as a lie. Like they were calling you liars, even though you were telling the fucking truth. Believe me, not your lying eyes type shit. But I guess now it's become a legitimately coined phrase. I just think the origins of that word is very funny. By the way, I'm seeing a couple at least one new face over here in the chat. Anarude. No, never mind. I've seen you before. Anarude Sandstorm. Thanks for returning. Holy shit.
Mostly everyone watching is like a returning. Mostly everyone watching is like has been around. They've been here.
Love y'all. If you're returning, please do us a favor and like the video, share it, at least try to get us into the algorithm so we can get a larger audience of cool people like you to spread the message. Love you. Appreciate it. Where the fuck was I? Oh, yeah. I want people to make their displeasure known in a place where it might actually make a difference. Spitz, a Helldivers 2 community manager, wrote in the game's Discord server. Steam reviews and refund requests will do that. But players weren't content to just go after Helldivers 2. Arrowhead Game Studio CEO Johan Pilestead, I fucked that up probably, expressed dismay that players were also targeting the original Helldivers. It deeply saddens me that at Helldivers game is also being review bombed due to the recent Helldivers 2 controversy, he wrote on Twitter. I'm not calling it that. The review bombing created a knock-on effect for the game's presence on Steam. As the news caught on, players and others pointed out that the PlayStation Network was not available in certain countries, meaning that the requirement would cause players in those countries to lose access to a game they paid for, which is not an uncommon occurrence on a fucking Sony machine, by the way. I'm kind of glad this was said because I'm going to point this out. Let me tell you guys something. I've never been more glad in my entire fucking life to have canceled my PlayStation Plus subscription. And let me tell you why. There would be games that were offered to me, the customer, for absolutely free. And they would be randomly locked after I'd put considerable time into the game, gotten achievements, and garnered save data. What does that mean? It means I lose access to a game that I essentially paid for because it was offered to me free through my subscription. And I'm going to make a greater point using this later, but I'm going to go ahead and say what that means. The game is inaccessible to me from that point on, and there's a price tag added to it through the store, which means in order to get my game back, I would have to pay for it. You have no idea how many times I've had a game that I actually enjoyed get locked after it was offered to me for free, and I refuse to buy it again out of principle. And I say that to say you do not own digital fucking media. We have been fooled by the last generation, actually, with the advent of the Xbox One and the PS4 into basically buying mostly digital games because, you know, they did this fucking genius move with the fucking assholes, right? With you can still buy physical media, but when you put the disc in your fucking machine, you still have to download half the game. And most people, because this is actually pretty logical, would say, well, if I have to download it, why the fuck would I get the disc when I could just buy it off the store? Makes perfect sense. I don't have to go to GameStop. You know, like, it makes perfect sense, even though you can get it delivered. But you get the point. Why do that when I can save space and buy it off the store? But we were fooled because at least with the physical media, even if you have to download it, you still own the copy of the game. If there's a fucking patch that you don't like that was introduced to the copy of the game, you can delete the game, thereby removing the patch and reinstall it from the disc. And I'll be, for as long as the PS5 life cycle is, because I'm not buying another fucking console. I'm just not, unless it's a Steam Deck. I will be buying physical discs henceforth. I just will. But I wanted to point that out because it's not the first time and it's not unheard of for players to lose access to fucking games that they've paid for or were given for free by PlayStation. But anyway, continue. Steam tracker site SteamDB reported that the game had been delisted in 177 countries where PSN was not available, and there were reports from players that Steam was issuing refunds to players beyond the typical refund window. Then early Monday morning, Sony announced that they were getting their money fucked up and that they would rescind the PSN linking requirement. On social media, players questioned how this all happened. They saw their money being fucked up. That's how it happened. You hit them where it hurts. In their fucking pocket. Go ahead.
They got together, they took their money back, and spoke about it. That's all you gotta do. Gamers, that's all you have to do to get what you want.
Nah, bro, that's the thing. No, here's the beautiful part about it. They didn't issue those. They didn't request those refunds. Sony's stupid ass essentially gave them their money back. That's why this shit got reversed. But we should use this. Sony shot themselves in the foot, right? But we should use this as a fucking template for what we should do voluntarily and not by accident to get shit done. That's why there were mass cancellations of subscriptions due to the Stellar Blade shit. How come they get to have bear sex and penis physics and uncensored nudity where you can put a penis on a woman and a vagina on a man, but I can't have cleavage in a fucking Japanese game. This shit doesn't make any sense. Full-blown sex scenes in fucking Baldur's Gate, but I can't have some cleavage in a fucking hack and slash. It's retarded. Go ahead.
Yeah, the principle is completely... The standard is completely fucked with video games, but also... No, man, I feel like it takes a bit of unity amongst gamers to actually to have this kind of effect against Sony, and which leads to what I was gonna say earlier. Don't stop here. Don't stop with just this game. This needs to apply to every game from henceforth, because the battle is won, sure, but don't get complacent. Don't ease in. Like, don't give up the small victory, because in the grand scheme, this is a small victory in a much bigger battle. Who's to say Sony won't try to do this again in the future?
Oh my God, I won't put it past them. By the way, hey, what's going on, Rudy Smith? He says there are enough video games that I have enough choice that even if a video game is good, if it proclaims degenerate shit, I don't buy it. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. See, this is what they're doing, right? And V explained this perfectly. They're slipping in broccoli with the chocolate. So they'll do all these things to make the game. They're going to make the gameplay stellar. They're going to make the fucking story stellar. And then they're going to hit that bitch with the DEI stick. And they do this on purpose to annoy the fuck out of you. And to make some of you cave, because I got to be honest with you, audience. Some of y'all don't have any self-control. Some of y'all operate like you don't have any principles. Like with fucking Hades 2. I was hype as fuck for that game. The trailer was nice. I was hoping it was co-op. All of that shit. I was ready to give them my money. And what happened? They made the gameplay stellar. They made the artwork stellar. The animation crisp. The game looks better overall. I can't speak on the story because I don't know it. Probably ass because it got hit with the DI stick. But you get the point. It got hit with the fucking DI stick. Now I want nothing to do with the game because women look like men and men look like twinks or fat cripples, and I'm just not with it. Excuse me, fat disabled people. Sorry about that. And I'm just not with it. Rudy says, broccoli with the chocolate. Come on, it's like a turd with the chocolate. Broccoli is actually good. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I've never had chocolate broccoli. Is it good? That sounds weird.
It is weird. It was just an expression. When you want a kid to eat their vegetables, you try to fucking do weird shit like bake broccoli brownies and shit. Like, it's stupid. But anyway.
What?
Parents will do this. Parents will do that.
Brownies.
Parents will do that, bro. They'll put peanut butter on celery. Like that shit makes the celery taste any better. It doesn't.
What the hell?
Anyway, we're derailing. Okay. On social media, players question how this all happened. Though the PSN account linking was always planned for the game and indicated on its Steam page, Pilstead wrote that the unstable condition of the game's launch forced them to delay implementing the requirement. He also stated that there were apparently, internal discussions with PlayStation that the requirement would anger fans. And still they didn't give a fuck. They didn't look at how the game was well received and how their numbers were up and reverse the rollout on this shit. Nah, fuck the fans. Who cares if they're angry until you robbed yourself and had to run your fucking pockets and give them all their shit back. Now we'll listen to you. For the record, guys, it shouldn't be this way. Companies should just listen to you. And in my opinion, if it's a trend for a company to have to be bullied or persuaded to give you, the customer, what the fuck you want, you probably shouldn't fuck with them. I'm not telling you what to do with Sony's brand. I would just keep an eye on them. I know what I'm doing in response to this shit. Go ahead.
I mean, I don't advocate for bullying, but I'm just saying.
I mean, Sweet Baby said terrify them until they give you what you want. Why the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I mean, if they can say it, why can't I say it?
I can't. Look, we legally cannot condone violence, condone bullying, but
who said? I mean, we're not gonna. Bullying, but you know what's crazy? They literally advocated terrorism. Terrify them until they give you what you want. Terrorism doesn't have to involve blowing shit up, by the way. Terrorism is inciting fear or hysteria to achieve a political result. And they would deny that that's what it is. It's exactly what the fuck it is. DEI is political. And terrifying people to get it added to your fucking subcultures is, by definition, terrorism. The bitch said terrify them. It's terrorism. That's what it is.
All right.
But anyway,
I guess we could put it this way. Can't advocate for terrorism, but we could totally advocate to bully the bigger companies.
I mean, I wouldn't advocate that either. I'm gonna say vote with your wallet. That's what I'm gonna say, because it's not terrorism. It's not terrorism to take your business elsewhere. That is your right as the customer. Period. We don't have to be like Sweet Baby and terrify companies into giving us what we want. As a matter of fact, I say fuck that. I say go to the people that are fucking with you already. That's what I say. Go to a company that wants to give you what you want so you don't have to go through all this extra bullshit. That's what I'm saying. Also, be the change you want to see and start creating your own entertainment. Honestly, I've never heard anyone take it from this angle. Why should you have to bully a company into giving you what you want? Why? It's a fucking headache.
Have to, no. They should totally meme them though.
Oh yeah, meme them into oblivion.
Yes.
Where was I? When servers exploded on launch, quick decisions had to be made, such as turning off linking. Pilestead wrote on X, and now finally the requirement to re-enable came from PlayStation, to help with moderation. And we had to comply, even though there were concerns there would be backlash. Okay, so their hands were forced. It's pretty much the same fucking situation we're facing right now with I almost called them push up, shift up. They're compelled by contract to do certain dumb shit. Like, they have only themselves to blame for this shit. They have only themselves to blame. Hopefully, the creators of fucking Helldivers get freed from the Sony sweatshop and can truly go independent. I think they were independent before, but you get my point. Yeah,
because I was gonna say because even the creators of Helldivers were not like for the whole PSN Steam Link thing. I remember there was videos where they were basically commenting like, we're sorry guys, we did not.
I'm surprised they weren't under NDA. I'm surprised they weren't under like a gag, bro. But anyway,
well, now that they were probably gagged to not give like any details of the structure, or more so just kind of responding to like people who already noticed like, hey, forced to get a PSN account, what the hell? And pretty much the developers are like, we're sorry about that.
Yeah. So be careful not to misplace your anger. Like, it's on Sony. That said, now that the decision has been reversed, Pilestead expressed appreciation for fans and thanked PlayStation for resolving the matter swiftly. The game has been restored in the countries where it was previously removed, and it seems like players are changing their negative reviews, with Helldivers 2 now sitting at a mixed rating as the number of positive reviews slowly ticks up. Pilestead even poked fun at the whole event, sharing a graphic. Go ahead.
Actually, no. You can go finish up.
Paustat even poked fun at the whole event, sharing a graphic from a community member that turned the game's negative review Steamcraft into a design for the capes players were in the game. Hang on. I gotta see that shit. Creativity. Let me see this. Also, the accidental cape design is pretty cool from a community member. Yo, that's sick. That's sick. They include memes in the game and lore. That's sick. That's the type of shit that should be happening.
Nice.
That's crazy.
That is so cool.
Oh, that's funny. The last segment, though it was accidental, I can still kind of round out everything that's been presented.
Wait. I was gonna say. Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Sony. I was gonna say Sony has this bad habit of always, like, whenever something like that's being done under them starts making success organically, they always step in to mess it up and take credit for its success. This has happened way too many times, and I'm still tired of it.
I mean, it's not uncommon. Like, look at what they've done in the past, right?
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they have such a bad habit of doing that for decades.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I'm telling people, like, vote with your wallet. You know what I mean? Like, having to go through all this shit every fucking release with a fucking game company is just so annoying. That's why I can't wait for games like Stellar Blade to be released on PC. I'm just now catching up to the PC wave, and I mean, I always knew they were right about it being the master race. I just got tired of hearing those motherfuckers invite themselves to conversations about consoles like fucking Jehovah's Witnesses. Like, bro, we get it, bro. We've always known PC was better. No one fucking asked. Jesus Christ, bro.
Oh god, that's basically every console conversation between me and my friends. We always had that one guy in our group who would just say, "Just get PC, bro."
Bro, if I could afford a PC, motherfucker, I would have one. Why do you think I have a console? First of all, at the time I was having these discussions, I was in fucking middle and high school, so I had no money. Why the fuck are you telling me to just get a PC knowing damn well I don't have a job? What the fuck? Oh, Jesus. Like, how long have we known each other, bro? Like, you say this every time. It's been years. Like, it's just stupid. But the last segment, even though I did it by accident, could be used to round out what is possible when you properly gatekeep your subcultures. The time for gatekeeping as it currently is in pop culture, it's too late. We got too many people calling for new players and new fans to join shit without properly vetting them, and people who are too fucking nice allowing themselves to be subverted. This is what happened to the fighting game community. I can't really speak on the novel community because that had nothing to do with readers virtually. That had way more to do with publishers on the back end. But either way, it happened in the fighting game community. It happened in tabletop. Happened in fucking comic books.
I would say
Go ahead.
I would say I think with books, I think it happened a lot like quick, like super quick, and it was super easy because most readers did not catch on to that until it was like already too late. And
They didn't, bro.
I'm also thinking that a significant portion were just like accepting it. Like,
Dude,
books did not have such a big fight to protect their, like, their communities or like or the stuff they love.
bro,
So like decades later when it was being like adapted into movies and stuff.
Bro, toward the beginning of the end of the Riordan verse, which would have been the introduction of Magnus Chase in the Sword of Summer and book 1 of the Trials of Apollo. That was the beginning of the end of the Riordan verse. That motherfucker bait and switched us for 2 series, bruh. And he had the nerve to not give us. He had the nerve to not give us more Kaine Chronicles, which I'm thankful for now. Obviously, I wouldn't want them to get hit with the fucking.
I would not complain about that.
But he bait and switched us twice. The Sword of Summer had absolutely no alphabet shit in it, and it was fucking good. Valhalla, people dying in funny ways and being admitted into Valhalla. The introduction of Ratatoskr and the World Tree. It was a fucking fun book, and I just don't understand why he had to ruin it.
Loki also had a cold introduction.
Yeah, like, I don't even understand why he had to ruin it. Bro, I was so excited to keep reading, bro. And then Magnus Chase is Annabeth's fucking cousin from a different pantheon, bro. It was about to get crazy, dog. Like, it was about to be so stupid, bro. He had Scandinavian roots.
You know,
go ahead,
bro. He also he had the Percy and Annabeth cameo, but like no actual opportunity, or not opportunity, but he just kind of passed up the opportunity to have like a closer connections between the pantheons, like how he did that in that one little mini book, which I would not have. I came across it by chance.
He could have made his own half-blood. My bad. We're talking over each other. Go ahead.
I was saying, like, I came across, like, when the Percy Jackson universe crossed over with, like, Kaine Chronicles.
Yes.
A little mini book. It was a little tiny book. And I only came across it by chance.
Yeah, it was the Gladius crossover.
Nothing about
it was the purple book with the Kopesh and Riptide crossed together. Yeah, it was dope. I think they fought so
big. Like, okay, this is actually a really cool concept.
Yeah, like, and they could have gone further.
Really cool concept.
It could have gone further with the introduction of Magnus Chase. He could have had his own, like, half-blood headquarters trio, like the Avengers or something, and all the threats from the different, like, the veils from each pantheon were getting thinner and thinner to where the Egyptian people could see things from Norse, and, like, the concept could have easily worked. It would have been great. They'd all be joining forces to fight different threats from each pantheon. It would have been dope. But I guess you don't have time to brainstorm shit like that. Go ahead.
And I remember I used to be excited because, like, back with the Percy Jackson and then the Heroes of Olympus series, because that to me felt like he was trying to make, like, his own little, like, cinematic universe within his own books. Because it was basically, like, 2 semi-different pantheons, because, you know, Greek and Roman were basically the same, but they were still crossing over, like they were just meeting, like there were 2 universes meeting and working together, like the Avengers and all that. That was so damn cool.
Like I said, you don't have time to brainstorm shit like that when you're too busy thinking about DEI. So, like, the first book of the Magnus Chase and the Sword of Summer was good, and then the second book came out. I don't even fucking remember what that shit is called. And then Trials of Apollo book 1 had no fucking alphabet shit in it, and then the second book of that shit had it. Like, I'm so glad I dropped those series on the first book after I caught wind of that shit. It's ridiculous. But anyway, at least we have informed the audience of what is possible when you properly gatekeep your fucking communities, and what is possible when you vote with your wallet, because that's ultimately what it's going to take. We gotta let these companies die and rebuild entertainment media from its ashes. That's what's going to have to happen. This is not what I had in mind when I pictured a great reset, but here it is. Go ahead.
Another important thing is, like, you gotta unite, because I think that's because if you actually, like, have multiple people working together, you can achieve something. We've seen that time and time again. Not enough times enough to and recently, but, like, this counts. This to me counts as, you know, effort.
Yeah, Grums was actually trying to encourage more people to sign petitions on Twitter, and he actually drew out an action plan for freeing Stellar Blade, sending emails, letters, signing a petition, trying to get Shift Up enough documentation to plead their case, and reverse the decisions made to censor Stellar Blade. And his plan seems pretty cohesive. And I think we should at least try. Like, we get nowhere if we don't fucking, what's the saying? You miss 100% of 100% of shots you don't take. Why not? You know? I still stand on what I said earlier about taking your business elsewhere, but at the same time, you know. But either way, you got anything else to say before we wrap up the show? We're coming in at about 1 hour, 49 minutes. Oops. Did something happen on the back end of him? Hang on. Give me a second, guys. Trying to see if anything happened to Soups' audio. His headset died. No. That fucking sucks. Damn. Well, I guess he can't do sign off. Damn. Anyway, he can't do sign off with me, so I'll do it myself. Thank you guys for coming out. Yeah, it was nice speaking with you guys as usual. Saw 1 or 2 new faces here tonight. Again, consider subscribing if you haven't already. Check out my links in the description to keep your fingers on the pulse of Cosmogoth. Be on the lookout for a couple projects that are in the works. I had a lecture on escapism that was just completed for recording, and I'm editing that now. Also, I have to record the footage for Odin's Sphere Lethrasir, which we just beat this weekend, and I broke down the setups and the payoffs that the game was giving as we were playing. Had a lot of raw, visceral reactions to some of these payoffs because they were fucking great, dude. You should absolutely play this game. And I'm actually eager for the next Dread Quest because, as I said a couple weeks ago, and actually in the last stream I did for Dread Quest, I will be doing a watch-along / watch party for the new Fallout TV series. And I can demonstrate to you guys that I had a fair use banner made for the occasion. So it will look like this for the majority of the viewing, but hopefully enough of you show up to where we can actually talk to each other about what's going on in the show. I can take it down to show you certain clips when the time comes, and we can break down the logic of the writing of the show because it's pretty fucking bad. And the reason why I want to do it that way is, one, I'm separating myself from other content creators. It is a big risk because I could potentially get a copyright strike, but that's why I went to the trouble of getting that fair use banner made. Hopefully it's enough. I won't be showing 100% of the clips. Obviously, I'll be giving you the option to go watch the show yourself if you want to by having a link in the description, etc. But I just want to get the point all the way across for why the show is bad, it is overrated, and what not to do, because I have yet to have an example of bad media to give you guys. It's pretty much all been good media, but at some point you're going to have to interact with some bad media. So I'm going to give that to you, probably do 2 shows worth of bad media, and then we actually watch something good like Burn Notice or Elementary. You know, really fun times ahead for those. But anyway, this has been your gracious host, Kaine Walker, and co-host Soups. We are signing off, and we will see you all again next time. Peace.
Bye.